everybody. Welcome to our franchising podcast. Wolfhound Franchising. I'm Sean Livingston, franchise consultant and broker with the Franchise Brokers Association. And today I have with us Mark Avery from Puddle Pool Services. And so let's talk about your franchise. Mark. You're the founder of Puddle Pools, right?
I am. Yeah. Good morning, Sean. I'm the founder and the CEO of Puddle.
So tell me a little bit about Puddle.
Yeah, for sure, man. Puddle is you probably guess, it's a pool, hot tub, and water feature maintenance company that specializes in residential and commercial pool care. So we do like your weekly services. Like with pools, they have to be maintained weekly. I'm not sure if do you have a pool yourself?
I don't.
Yeah.
I wish I did.
Yeah. Some days, yep. Some days not. I have a pool and I'm the same. So they have to be maintained weekly. So there's a lot of upkeep with them. And then hot tubs and spas and whatnot are bi-weekly. So we do like your weekly services, as well as your larger items like your leak detection, vinyl liner replacement, auto safety covers, pump repairs and equipment maintenance, then actually full pool, fiberglass pool installs. So that's kind of what Puddle does. That's us.
What got you started in Puddle? How did that come to be?
Oh man, this is going to be a long one, Shawnee. It's what got me started. So I've always been in the home service space, and I've moved into the franchise space a while ago, like, I don't know, 10, 12, 15, or 12 plus years ago. I started my own pest control company when I was young, and I grew it till I was like 5, 6, or 7 technicians. And then exited that. And I sold that to a large competitor. And then I took a year off and kind of just saw what else I was going to go into. And I went to one of these learning day, like a conference kind of day. And it was based on people in business. And one of the folks there was a gentleman named Jim Tree Living, who is a big franchise guy in the restaurant space, like Boston Pizza and like every other kind of thing. So. But he started talking about the franchise model and it just kind of like, and it just kind of like clicked, so that's kind of what really made me, I really like that space and growing through teamwork and, and all that, fun stuff. But that's kind of how I started. So I started my first franchise was a home service company, like roof cleaning, window cleaning kind of thing, and grew that to 56 units. And then we had a pest control company or pest control franchise, as well as Puddle. And then so Puddle a landscaping and then Puddle. So we kind of, we kind of had this mass of them. But
so you're connected with 4 different franchises, is that right?
Yes. Yeah. That's right. And the master plan was to move into the US, right? Because the US is, 10 times bigger, 10 times it's just bigger and, for obvious reasons, and everybody in the mother.
Right.
Also, that's good. So that was kind of the game plan. So I actually just exited the last one, Toodaloo, to move focus primarily just on Puddle itself. So that's kind of how I got into the space and where we're at now. So,
okay. Yeah, franchising is a good way to expand your business with other people's money, really.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you have investors, right? It's like it'd be hard to, and I've had that question before, like, why don't you just grow it all yourself, right? But it's impossible to grow. Like we have, like say we're in year or month 6, or what are we at? Month 18, right? And we have 25 locations. You couldn't do that on your own organically. You'd have to have a lot of capital and a lot of moving parts, right? So I just think it just grow, like you're right, it just grow, like when you have 25 individual owners that are in it to win it, you know what I mean? You're going to grow, like you can't match that. So. Right. And they have skin in the game too.
Yeah,
so they're going to want to, they're going to want to make money and make it a successful business too.
Absolutely. It almost evolves. It becomes like our team works for them. Like the better they do, the better we do. So it's in our best interest to make sure they're absolutely smashing it out of the park. Right. So I like that model, right? Kind of keeps everybody on their toes, everybody honest, and makes everybody. And like you say, they're like Bob in Timbuktu is going to know more about his location, care more about his location, not than I would, but you know what I mean. That's his babies or her babies. So that's kind of what I like about it. Is you get to grow. You do grow quicker. So yeah.
So is Puddle mainly owner operator then?
Not so much. No, it's more exec model, right? It is actually exec model.
Okay.
We do have some locations that start owner operator, but it just morphs and evolves within a couple months into that exec model, just because of call volume, and you wear a lot of hats, and it's turns out to be not impossible, but it's
Well,
pretty.
yeah, any business we're in a lot of hats, but
Yeah.
yeah. So so Puddle, you can, when you start out, you'd
Yep.
be able to move it into, I don't know, more of a, I don't know, semi-absentee or more of a ownership management role.
Exactly.
Than
Yeah. That's
okay,
bang on, John. That's it. Yeah. It's you can only go so far with owner operator. Not go so far, but you can only grow in our game anyways before you got your calls, maintenance, growing, KPI. Like there's a lot of moving parts. So we have had locations
okay,
that are in that. So depends on like I'm the type of guy too. I need to get that's how I learn. I need to like feel it. Like I have to, I have to grab this thing and feel it to know what it is rather than learn about it. Just people learn different ways. So, but it does, yeah. To answer
right,
your question, that's exact model for sure.
yeah. And if somebody gets down and does the work, they
Yeah.
understand what their technician's doing as well at
Yeah.
first, at least.
Exactly.
What Well, I was going to say, well, who do you mainly target? Do you focus on residential? Is it like my neighborhood has a pool? That's why I don't have one, right? So
Yeah.
me and my kids, we go down to the neighborhood
That's
pool,
it.
right?
That's the best
So
friend. That's the guy with the pool and the boat. That's it. Friends with them.
so what is your main target? Is it that residential pool? Is it the homeowner, or is it like the community pool, that sort of thing, like in the subdivision or
Yeah, in the HOA. So it's actually both. So
right?
it's residential and commercial. So there's two different platforms, two different marketing programs, two different training sessions. One residential, obviously the homeowner. That's kind of the meat and potatoes. Organically, you're going to have a lot more of those. But moving into your we call it the commercial, like your hotels, motels, apartments, townhomes, condos, multi-unit HOAs. You walk through the mall. I say you walk through the mall, you see the big fountain inside the plaza. Puddle takes care of those. So it's a lot of it's a little bit of both. It's not a little bit of both. It's a lot
Okay.
of both. So yeah.
So that makes me think of anything with water in it, really.
Anything with water. Yeah,
Or
you got it. Except for
yeah.
ponds. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess in my mind,
Yeah.
or when somebody sees it, they're automatically just thinking like the pool in somebody's backyard. So
Yeah. It's
but that can open up your market base there too of clientele. Like if somebody's thinking about buying this, how what's my potential? That
yes,
opens up the potential a lot more.
for sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's it's kind of it's a niche market. It's not till once somebody has like an intro call with us, they get to see kind of and then by the next call, like, oh man, I really noticed around my neighborhood. Like even you go into an apartment building, there's a fountain out front, or some kind of water feature that has to be maintained, right? Like, and I say it gets to the point where your husband or wife is kind of like, hey, concentrate, enough, right? So, but you start to see all of the openings. So, yeah, it's pretty
Okay.
wild. Yeah.
So what makes Puddle different?
Yeah. So as far as to a franchise partner, to a franchisee, or to
Yeah. So
yeah,
if somebody's looking at Puddle, what do they see it's different than, I don't know, if there's a
another
competitor,
sure.
or maybe different from, I'm assuming if someone already has that body of water or pool, they may
Oh,
already
right.
have a maintenance service, right? So
Yeah.
what do you feel like is different with Puddle?
Sure. Yeah. So for the end user, for on the consumer side, there's three pain points in industry. It's price, communication, and people. Nice way to say people. So it's very a lot will have no communication. They don't know when their techs were there, what was done. They just know that some chemicals went in the pool and they were there. A lot is the price. There's a lot of fluctuation in price. We tell you it's this much a month, and then it's actually this month. So a lot of smoke and mirrors. And then a lot of the industry is very chuck in the truck, or down, guy with the pickup truck.
So it's kind of fragmented.
Cigarette hanging out of the mouth. So it's usually one of those three. So it's hard for people that that have a service already. The value add, the price is going to be better because of our national pricing we pass on to our clients. So there's that. There's communication. Our entire business is mobile. Like I could run where you are from where I am, right? So it has before they arrive, there's a text saying, hey, they're on their way. When they've arrived, When it's done, it wraps up in a report with video, shows them locking the gate, the report, like everything is live in real time. So, and then that's done. The branding head to toe, they don't use any of the customer's equipment, everything. Like in our world, if somebody has a pool, they can take a water sample up to the store and they can tell them what they need to put in it, and they sell them everything under the sun. But in ours, like we have those machines built into the vehicle, so the tech can do that right on. So it's really, really quick, very seamless, and it's and again the people, it's just a different caliber. So it was a lot of value add for the client, right? And then same with if you're looking at the difference with the franchise partner, what would differentiate us from any other home service brand? The reoccurring revenue. I can go through all those points, right? But the number one is Puddle Power, which is our game changer. That's allowed us to take the home service base and run it from everywhere. Like we have a guy who has a territory and he goes to Sri Lanka like 5 times a year, and we don't know when he's there until he calls us, and we know the phone's ring. It's going, it's like boop, boop, has that different ring, like, oh, he's overseas, right? We have locations that are 3-4 hours away, so you don't have to be in your own backyard. So it allows them to run the entire business from the phone and the app and the text in the field. So it's really, really, really that honeycomb effect. So, anyways, I'm rambling.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess the professionalism too, like you said, usually it's just, I don't know, the random local guy just showing up with a with a net, cleaning it up.
Yeah.
Right?
That's usually, so the value add when they, if they're paying, $200 a month for one and $200 for ours, it's everything else they kind of get with it. So it's, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you said reoccurring revenue, is it mainly a contract? Does somebody contract with you guys for a year or whatever it is?
Yeah, it's usually that or monthly or bi-month or monthly. It's depending on what the client is. Like residential, it's usually month. We kind of boast no contracts, right? It's just an agreement. The thing with pools is it has to be maintained weekly. So there's no, like I'm just going to leave it because then it just turns into a pond, goes green and brown and black, and so on and so forth. So yeah, most of it's all service agreement. So at the end of the month, it just invoices or just charges their card. And then, so it's very seamless. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Obvious question. Is there downtime in the winter? Do you see the ebbs and flows, I guess, when the winter comes around?
For sure. Yeah. You would think that's also another one where it's non-seasonal because we're in that residential and that commercial space. So like most apartments and townhomes, HOAs, they have some type of, pool or spa for the amenities, and it tends to be indoors usually. And that's year round, right? And those have to be maintained daily. Right? So in some zips, it has to be tested twice a day. So from the franchise partner side, like our highest producing location is up north in Canada where it gets to like -40. So there's 6 feet of snow, so you can kind of do the math. And when it doesn't really, the commercial field, it doesn't really, it doesn't have an up or a down field. So it's of course you have your spikes in the summer, absolutely, right? But it doesn't stop. And that's the other thing in this industry. It's either residential or commercial. Everybody kind of stays in their lane. So we're strong in both. So it doesn't dip. Or it tries not to dip anyways. Yeah.
Yeah. And, it just made me think of something too. Is, I don't know, down in Florida or something, a lot of people have actually the pools are in those little bird cages or something like that. Yeah. So even if, they might even have something like that, so.
We do, like our location in the Villages, Florida. That's I pop down there to visit them, and everybody has a cage. And first, like coming from where I'm just like, what is going on here?
My parents used to live there.
Yeah, and do they? Okay, yeah,
yeah. Everyone, I think everyone's in the Villages.
Everyone's in the Village, and it's great. Everyone's on golf carts.
It's like it's like a bubble.
It is, yeah. It's like the Truman Show. It's just like everything is super clean, and you're like, wow, am I in like Disney World? It's like super clean. Everyone's on golf carts. It's great, right? But they all have the cages, right? So I guess to keep bugs out or alligator or whatever that it is, right? But it's super smart. But
yeah, I guess. Yeah, bugs and alligators. I don't know. I wouldn't want either of them in my yard.
Exactly.
I'm in North Carolina. Sometimes if I go out back, especially in the summer, we have mosquitoes that could pick you up and fly you away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just so now I understand why they have them, because it's it's great, but it's so things like that is year in the warmer states, then obviously it's year round, but even in the cold, like I say, we have 18 locations in Canada. That's kind of it's cold, it's cold in some parts. It's like freezing. So, and they're
Right.
year round. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. No, that helps because obviously, and from my perspective, if I'm talking to a potential candidate too,
Right.
right? So
Yeah.
if somebody thinks about that, if I would think automatically they're thinking, well, it's just the pools. That's just the summer, but
Yeah. A summer gig.
there's 3 other seasons where I guess they can still, again, you might have a spike in the summer, but it's good to know that it is year round. So
It is. Yeah. Yeah. And even the marketing is it's all based on like residential, and then 30 to 40 days in, it turns to that commercial. So it turns that on. So we have a system. So the drive is for that reoccurring revenue. So.
what about employees? Do you guys have to
Yeah.
hire any special technicians or anything like that?
No, that's so we pull from the customer service field, not so much the technical field, not the ex pool person or technician or anybody with a gas ticket, that kind of thing. Our systems allow us to onboard a tech within 10 days, and they're complete. All done through our training in-house. And we prefer someone from systems, like grocery stores, coffee shops, fast food, somebody that used to dealing with I would say like our top 2 producing technicians are from fast food, right? But they understand that like cleaning the pool portion is great, but what they actually learn is more of the growth, the business growth, I hate saying add-on sales, but it's because in a pool, if it needs something, it needs something. So be able to recognize that, replacing and giving that true value add, and then obtaining new clients. And that's kind of what they learn, right? So when we pull from that field, we kind of get the cream of the crop from there. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about scalability? Like you said, it's mobile. So
Yeah.
do you find your franchisees easily being able to scale the business?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's one of the first thing we say on the first calls. This is not for somebody that might be, retired or wanting to clean pools in the neighborhood or cut lawns or that kind of thing. It scales, and it scales quick. So you have to be prepared and want to build an empire, right? Because we always start with one vehicle. And then as we get to the next, by year 1, they should have 2 vehicles, 3. We have some locations that have 5 or 6 vehicles by the end of year 1, right? So having that ability to scale and build this, and all the territories are built the same, or if they're based on like a certain pool count. So even if a territory is much larger, it's still the same metric. So.
Okay. Yeah, I was just about to ask what would somebody start out with? You said 1 vehicle, so
yeah. It's always
okay.
Yeah, 1. Even if we have we have a gentleman who's closing on 3 territories, right? Wants to invest in 3, great. You still start with one truck, 1 van. It's easier to add vans and it's harder to take away, and it relieves that pressure of now I have overhead with 3 techs right away and 3 vehicles. Like why bother, right? So it's easier to just kind of plug and play.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mainly worked with veterans. Do you have any veteran franchisees?
We don't have any veteran franchisees as of yet. Like I say, we just launched into the U.S. in Q2 of this year, right? We have we have Chris, who's a sheriff, but no veterans as of yet. But I'd love to talk because you talk about structure and talk about understanding SOPs. There's nobody better, right? So.
Right. They get a playbook. I mean, that's not only that, anyone in the military, like there's a manual for everything down to, how you mow the lawn. Like, in the Army, they're like, I don't know, you can't use that lawnmower because are you trained on that yet? Like,
for sure. Yeah. But that's the mindset, right?
Something.
That's like ideal, and it's hard. You can't just learn that, right? You have to understand it, right? So it's it's a challenge.
I was just talking to somebody about this the other day, and how kind of comes down to how the culture is, and for the vast majority of the military, you're not allowed to walk on the grass.
Right. Yeah.
If you walk on the grass. Right. You have a first sergeant or sergeant major from like, I don't know, all the way down the street will see you and, it's coming right at you, or everyone stays on the sidewalks. It's,
Yeah.
walk a straight line.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's the uniform. It's the everything that I had my hand. That's how it came up. I had my hands in my pockets, and
Right.
when I was
no.
And in the army, right? In the army, it's you're not allowed to put your hands in your pockets because it makes you look lazy, right? They're like,
Sure,
don't put your hands in your pockets.
Yes.
Or if you're leaning on a wall,
right?
If you're leaning on a wall, somebody's bound to come by. Like you're in the hallway, somebody's going, hey, is that wall about to fall down? Do you need help holding it up? What's
that's it. It's those those operating.
There's these things that they're like you have to you just don't do.
For sure. You can lean on the wall here, but everything else, like that's great. And that's so to answer your question, no vets as of yet, but if there are any out there, please call us. Yeah, I would love to. Yeah.
Just to throw a plug in there, if you guys are looking for a
there you go.
A reoccurring revenue, scalable business, we can talk to Puddle.
So. Give us a ring. Yeah, for sure. See if it ticks some of your boxes. But, great. Awesome.
Let's see. So Mark, is there anything else you would like to talk about, or anything about Puddle, or maybe even your other franchises that you like to add in?
Yeah, as far as like I say, I've exited those, and it's all Puddle till I die, right? So myself, and I always talk about myself, but it's actually our team. Like one of the other strengths is we've had the same leadership team for over a decade, right? They've been with us for all the brand, like we've been through all the brands. So, we have our own in-house marketing team, we have an in-house call center, we have our liaison. So it's like, that's the team that makes it work, right? So even though we're like emerging into the US, we are, last year we started franchising Puddle beginning of last year. We ended with 12 and now we're at 25 and we're, in the 10th month.
Yeah, it's a good pace.
Yeah, and it's controlled growth, right? And so I think one of the benefits too is for the client or the franchise partner who's if it pertains to them, is more of that stability, and there's no holes in the boat. It's like this isn't our first rodeo. Close to 100 units with all of the other, you know what I mean? So 0 fails, 0 quits, 0. So it kind of speaks to the team. It's not me. It's mostly the team.
Right. So across all your brands, you haven't had anyone. Yeah.
Nope. No. Cool. None. Yeah. That usually speaks volumes, and
So mentioning the team, how do you guys market the business? Well, as a franchisee, how would they market the business, or what does Puddle provide for that franchisee?
Yeah, great question. So everything is done in-house, like our own teams, like our own SEO, PPC, digital, social media teams. So they're on-house. We have 3 on staff full-time it's a DFY approach. It's done for you, done for them. So they don't have to do any online marketing or do any of that. So everything is automated. If they want to be involved in social, they're given access to their social media page for sure, and they can start posting on it. But if they don't want to, our team does it anyway. So it just depends on the type of person. So everything is really, really like everything down to I always say, like even the smallest thing where maybe the tech's in the field and we have the buttons are like, hey, can we make these buttons bigger because my hands are big and fat and wet, right? That's not a big thing. For somebody in the field, that's a big thing. So because it's our CRM that we've developed since day one, it's not an outside third party. We make those buttons bigger because it's just all those little things that make the difference. Like just that small little minor detail, right? And I could go in all day as to, like our ops team in the field, Mike and his crew who are in charge of training, and they're there for if a tech is in, Texas and they need help at 5 p.m., they just hit the help me button and it goes to one of Mike and his team live who are in the field who can help say, oh yeah, do this, don't do that. Oh wait, don't, that kind of thing. If they forget, there's also 100 videos on there. So just all the little things that really make a difference with the team and the marketing in general.
Do you find any other franchisees trying to do any additional marketing besides kind of all the online stuff that you guys provide?
Absolutely. Yeah. Which is great. And, we promote that. It's having that community feel, right? Like, sponsor, they'll sponsor swim meets, they'll sponsor soccer teams. We have some that rent out the box for the hockey box where they'll bring the property manager. So those kind of things, yeah, definitely it's something community driven. It's not always knocking on doors and saying, "Hi, I'm from Puddle Pools BS." You know what I mean? Which is great, and it is a part of it,
right?
BS,
and some of that can be expensive, or like direct mail and all that stuff. It can be expensive, but not needed.
But there's we have 21 additional points of marketing for them that they can rely on, right? It's they're in 3 different fields. They're in the field, they're in digital, and then they're the partnership. So all of these, even if it's going to, how do we meet a property manager? How do we grow that commercial field, right? There's 8 different sections on how to do that and how to do it right, because it's a different world.
Right. Or like you said, the fountain in the mall. How do you find the guy that's in charge of the mall?
Exactly. Right? Great. I know there's a fountain in the mall. Big deal. So now what? So who are you going to talk to? They have to know who to talk to, how to approach them, how to give the quote, and all to do that from their phone, from right there. That's kind of what makes that difference, right? So it's the additional marketing is because there is a lot of relationship based, right? Like that property management field it's few and far between a property manager or somebody's going to go online and say pool's near, pool cleaner near me. They already have that I was going to say Rolodex. Now I'm dating my, but you know what I mean? They already have that. Back in my day. No, you know what I mean? They still have that. They still have those relationships. So you have to know how to be real. Like nobody likes a fake salesman, right? And it's either, and that's kind of from the beginning, is this person a real person or are they all smoke and mirrors or BS, right? So we kind of,
right.
So that's kind of how that works.
You made me think of something too. So like giving a quote, like when you walk up, is there a way that I know with technology now, there's a lot of the franchises out there that, they have like their apps that can quickly give them the, I don't know, the quote, or is it like square footage and all that stuff? And then boom, just.
Yeah. So everything's kind of like preset for the territory because it ranges, right? Like, north, south, it's all different. Some may pay 200 a month, some may pay 400 a month, some may pay whatever, 100 a month, whatever it may be. So that territory is preset in our system prior to them launching. And they still have the ability to, if it's, say 500 a month, they have the ability to change that to 600 a month or to $1 a month. They have the final say, but it will give them that. Like if you and I walked into the mall, within 5 minutes, I would know who the property manager is, how to get them that quote, send it to them. It would be in their inbox. So that's kind of and I could tell you how we do that, but then I'd have to kill you, Shawnee. So that's,
I understand. Yeah, we can't give away all the secrets.
That's right? It. I'll give you a little bit, but that's it. So, but yeah, it just makes it easier, right? So, and when you're scaling and you're scaling that quick, and we want to scale that quick, you have to be able to service client 1 the same as 1,001, right? There's got to be even Steven.
So are your franchisees being that salesperson, or are you guys using like your technicians to do that?
Both. Yeah. So the tech in the field, they don't know you, they don't know me, they know the tech in the field, right? They know Susie, the technician. So she's trained on how to do that. But also there's another portion, like at the high level, like your property management, the relationship, that would be that would be Sean Land. That would be the franchise partner. So it's separated, but everybody's involved. So it's not just one moving part. Yeah. Yeah, man.
It's always good to learn about a new, new franchise and a new product. And since you guys have only been around for about 18 months, so, and in the US less. So
like we started franchise. Yeah. Canada. Yeah. Beginning.
It's only been in the US for 6 months.
Yeah. Not even. It's been 6 months. Yeah. We have quite a few coming down the play. Yeah, we have Plano. We have a location in Florida, California. We have Nevada. Off the Strip is opening. We have a bunch for Texas. Yeah, so we're like I say, it's controlled growth. Like we'll we kind of I think. Anyway.
Yeah, I've seen some franchises that have exploded, and they just they start. And then they get behind on developing, getting those people open, and that can become a problem.
Exactly. Yeah. With us, it's easier. It's like they can onboard in 6 weeks, same program, nothing faster, but it can go longer if they want, right? So, but it's I think it's that you don't want to implode, right? Like what's the point? Like these are people's business.
Do you guys do any training at the headquarters? Is it all online?
It's a 3-part. There's a pre, and then there's a virtual, and then there's an in-person, which is a Monday to Friday at in either Vancouver or California. So we have 2 locations.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Just depends on what kind of mood everybody's in. If they want to go to Vancouver, come to Vancouver. If they want to go to Cali, go to Cali. If you want the sun or the rain, so kind of it.
I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Yeah. And I hope to find some veterans for you sometime in the near future.
There you go. Yeah. See if it's a match. I love it. Thanks very much for having me, Sean.
All right. Great. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for listening to our interview with Mark Avery, founder and CEO of Puddle Pool Services. And if you'd like to know more about Puddle Pools or any other franchise, please feel free to reach out. And thanks for listening.